All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Thursday, September 25th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. This is presented to you by Rogue Sports Network, and this is All in Horns. Today's episode, we're going to be going over some recruiting updates for the Longhorns, and I think something that's interesting that I didn't really put together. Now, obviously, you had Derek Cooper on the sidelines. He was wearing the Franklin's barbecue hat, which was legendary.
Terry Black. He had Terry
Terry
Black. So
Black.
let's not
Sorry.
start a barbecue war here.
You're
eaten
right.
both. They're both excellent, but
You're right. I apologize, Terry Blacks. But yeah, he again, legendary hat on the sideline. Obviously a big recruiting weekend. Yes, it was against Sam Houston. The reason why it was such a big recruiting weekend, because Jake, they don't have another home game for 5 more weeks. So basically, by the time the season's over, they won't be able to host any more recruits on campus. And so now they do get the don't they switch the home team for the OU Texas game, or is that just on the video game?
one more time on the question.
So on Texas OU, doesn't the honorary home team get to use that as a home game, or is that just on the video games?
No, it counts as a home game.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, Texas probably, if it just counted as like a neutral site game from a scheduling point of view, I'm pretty sure it'd be different. I mean, you look at it, Texas only has 3 more home games this entire season.
Yeah.
Which is pretty low in college football. And
yeah, you get to host Vanderbilt, and you host Arkansas, and you host Texas A&M. Those are your next 3 home games.
Yeah, which is a really low amount of home games. I mean, if you compare that around the SEC, I think it would be, probably the least amount of home games, and especially the largest gap of time.
Can you imagine being a season ticket holder, and the games you get are San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston State? Vanderbilt's good. Arkansas might surprise me. I know they lost.
You wouldn't have expected Vanderbilt to be good.
Right. But when you got your preseason tickets before Vanderbilt, Arkansas, A&M, and those are your games that you get.
Yeah. Unless you're an old head and the Arkansas game means something to you, which I don't think it does for Texas fans near as much as it does Arkansas fans. I got to experience that last year. I didn't realize how big of a rivalry that was to those to those people. But
them people.
I still can just hear that lady. I have a video on my phone where God, I wish I could see her again. I really do. Just because once the game was in hand, Texas had it won. She just started interrupting my video going, "Gig 'em. The Aggies are going to beat your ass." And then the Aggies lost too. I wish I could see her again just to rub that in her face.
Well, that's so annoying.
It was even the most redeeming part was when they were leaving. The husband stopped, shook my hand, said, "Thank you for dealing with my crazy wife all game."
Yeah.
He's like, "I love her, but she's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, she is."
Yeah, that's the lowest form of being a loser, is to root on for the Aggies of all team, who is also a rival of yours, by the way.
It's just chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. All right.
But it is. I remember thinking when I saw the year, I was like, season ticket holders are just renewing their tickets this year just to keep them for the following year. You get the A&M game, the first game back in Austin since A&M cried and got their way to get the first game back in College Station.
But big recruiting weekend for the Texas Longhorns this last weekend against Sam Houston. Mentioned Derek Cooper being at the game. He's a 5-star running back, number 1 running back on for the Texas Longhorns. But they also brought in flip commits, or hopeful flips, I guess you should say. 4-star wide receiver Jalen Lott. He's currently hard committed to Oregon. And then 4-star linebacker, he's a high 3-star, low 4-star linebacker, Braylon Hodge, a linebacker who is currently committed to Michigan State right now. Brought those 2 guys in for hopeful flips in the future, including Diabell, Derek Cooper, and a bunch of other guys. But a big weekend, kind of a big show out, a big shebang, if you will, on the recruiting trail this last weekend for the Texas Longhorns. And especially those 2 flips are kind of the 2 biggest updates, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and Hodge is an interesting one because it's a guy that Texas has really started to come on to late, which tells you it's a senior year eval, which means I think the staff has, because they already have some really good linebackers in this class. Tyler Atkinson at the top of that list, so that tells me the staff is really high on his upside. That the fact that they're trying to flip him
And
from
you're just going to
Michigan
need
State.
depth. You're going to lose guys. I mean, Spence is gone after this year. Leofau probably
Yeah, but
gone.
if they
You
didn't
think?
like him, they probably wouldn't go for him.
No, I realize that, but I'm saying like the amount of pieces that you're losing this year from your linebackers, you're going to need as much depth because it's kind of an unknown. It's not unknown, but you don't. Nothing's guaranteed in college football in terms of one player's development to the next. And you might get a guy. Jake, perfect example. Never in a million years did we have Grayson Littleton on the starting lineup at star position going into this season. So you just don't know with some of these guys' development and how they look in practice and how they take on the system of how they're going to produce. And some guys, highly recruited guys that we think, oh yeah, these guys are definitely going to get minutes their freshman year, end up needing another year or two to actually develop and get into the system. Whereas these other guys, 3-star, 4-star guys, are first year starters as a freshman.
Yeah, and never in a million years would we have thought Michael Taft was going to become an All-American stud NFL prospect type guy.
Exactly.
Trevor Gooseby kind of came out of nowhere. If you had thought Kelvin Banks went down, you would have thought we were screwed last year. And Trevor Gooseby just stepped in and looked like a stud. That was a 3-star. And so you have to trust the staff's ability to find talent that they think is going to develop and bring them in and then develop them. They've done overall a very good job of that. Has it been perfect? It's not perfect at any program. And mainly the offensive line hasn't been perfect on the development side, but that's why you're bringing in guys like, Nick Brooks this year that I think is going to be a stud at Texas. He might crack the starting lineup this year. It's definitely, if he didn't have his off the field issue, he maybe would have. And then that's why you bring in a guy like John Turntine, who I think was also on a visit, that's committed to Texas, that is going to be a 5-star lineman on all services by the end of the year. So I like what Texas doing in this class. They're already a top 5 class after everyone was hand wringing again in June and July. If you're watching this video and you are tweeting out and freaking out about recruiting in June or July with Sarkisian that has now been here for a long time, stop it. Bad.
No.
Just
No.
Like, stop. Every year,
Where's
man.
the
It's
spray
like,
bottle? I need the spray bottle.
dude, it's every year. It's just like they're missing on it, guys. This, I know you're gonna say last year. Well, this isn't last. It is. It is because it's happened every single year under Sarkisian, and I'm sure they're gonna get some flips down the line.
He's also the flip king. He gets these flips. I mean, Anthony Hill was a flip. People like a
Kelvin
lot
Banks
of people.
was
Kelvin
a flip.
Banks was a flip. I mean, we've got guys on
Ty
this
Anthony
year.
Smith was a flip.
Yeah.
Like, guess what? They're still in on Malachi Lee, the offensive tackle that is committed to Michigan right now, that I really hope they get. They're not giving up on him. Don't be shocked if they're able to flip him too. They're going to flip some guys, and they've already gotten, if the class ended now and this was the class, it would be a really, really good class, especially in a year where you don't need to go as heavy. You don't need to have a big class because just the way the cycles have turned out, you would probably rather attack the portal than go heavy on a high school class, unless you're so Texas is going to go deep sea fishing for big guys, and that's going to be the rest of this class.
Yep. Exactly. All right, Jake, let's hear from our incredible sponsor at Underdog, and you and I will give our favorite entries for this upcoming week right after. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HORNS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HORNS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. It is as simple as that. You make your picks, you win your money. And this is one that I really like, the Notre Dame-Arkansas game. I think Arkansas's offense is actually going to force Notre Dame's offense to try to continue to put up yards and put up points, because I think both of these two defenses, Jake, are struggling. And so I like Taylon Green to go higher than 310 total yards. That's both passing and rushing on the ground. Notre Dame's defense I've not been impressed with. If you go back and look at that Purdue game, they haven't been just standout studs. And someone who, Marcel Reed, another mobile quarterback who had success against this Notre Dame team. I think Taylon Green is a better version of Marcel Reed. Jeremiah Love, I'm going to go lower than 103.5 yards. I think that's a crazy high number. I know Arkansas's defense isn't great, but 103.5 for a running back, just to say, it's hard for me just to go over with a number like that. So I also think on the flip side of that, Jadarian Price at 61.5. I'm high on Jadarian Price. I'm low on Jeremiah Love. I like Jadarian Price going higher than 61.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I would echo that one. I'll probably jump in on you with that one once college becomes available over here. But I went with NFL since they didn't have college available yet. I like Bijan Robinson. Going to throw in some Texas love there to go higher than half a rushing receiving touchdown. Against the Commanders, I like Josh Allen to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against a very bad Saints team. And I was going to go Matthew Golden as well on this one, by the way, to get higher than half touchdown. You can't combine Jordan Love and Matthew Golden, probably because it's the Cowboys defense, but in reality, they just don't let you to combo the same team for the same type of line on that. So I went with Jordan Love to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns because I think he probably has that before the first quarter's over.
Yep. And Jake, I really like that entry that you've got. I'm probably going to jump on that with you as well and steal that pick from you. So, all right, that is Underdog. Again, you can make game picks now and team picks, all sorts of fun games that you can play on Underdog. Again, make picks, win money. It's football season. It's our favorite thing to do. So, Jake, back onto the 2026 recruiting class for Texas. One guy that we haven't really mentioned has kind of gone under the radar, Jermaine Bishop, athlete, 5-star athlete, probably going to be playing corner for the University of Texas. Just another added weapon on for this team that, again, you and I haven't really spent a lot of time speaking about, because you have guys on the offensive line and defensive line that we're really excited about. And then obviously the 5-star quarterback in Diabell. But yeah, I think, adding more pieces to this already really good secondary, Texas is now at a point to where they just reload 5-star talent. And it's almost like, there was that stage of Saban's era at Alabama where it was just a clone carbon copy at running back. They were all strong runners, all power guys, all had dreadlocks, all were fast. And it just was like they all look like clones of each other. They're just one after the other. That's what I feel like Texas is doing with its secondary.
Yeah, and what they're doing in the edge group too, by the way. Lance Jackson looks like a stud. You got Richard Wesley, who they flipped for Morgan, who's a 5-star edge. That's one of the top edges in the country coming in. You're just silly loaded at edge for years and years and years to come.
Did you say Richard Wesley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 5-star edge that they flipped from, and they're kind of doing it linebacker. You got Tyler Atkinson coming in. You got Bo Barnes on the roster now. You got Ty Anthony Smith. It's funny that Sarkisian's program has become
defensive,
a defensive powerhouse, and in recruiting too. And it's not that they're doing bad on offensive recruiting, and they've been a good offensive team under Sarkisian. They just haven't had an offense that I think that's reached a peak that Sarkisian can hit yet. And it's just been kind of a combination of Quinn Ewers never being healthy and having to play him hurt. The offensive line maybe not being as good at run blocking as you would like, not having the same running back talent since Bijan and Roschon. They haven't had a Bijan or Roschon level running back.
So you haven't had the talent there, but also you haven't had the health at running back.
Yeah, and because I was about to say they had Jonathan Brooks. He was that level, and then he gets hurt. And then you're relying on really young guys. And that's kind of been the case.
And
Running back's been such a weird position for Texas over the last few years.
CJ Baxter could be that talent. We honestly just don't know.
He's still players typically when they come back from an ACL aren't great right away. It normally takes a little time. Sometimes it's the next year. Like CJ Baxter next year could be the best running back in the nation all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He could still get to that height this year, but it's just running back's been a really weird position for Texas where I don't think it's fair to indict the coaching staff over it because they've been very unlucky at it,
And again,
quite frankly.
Sark has become CEO of this program, and I just think that to solely be like, oh, well, Sark's not the best play caller, or Sark's offense isn't this, Sark's offense isn't that. First of all, you're wrong on that aspect. Second of all, being a head coach at the University of Texas, we've seen many fail because they just couldn't handle all the responsibilities in terms of speaking to donors and on the recruiting trail and just being the face of it and just running the program the way it's supposed to be run. Sark has done an excellent job and on all aspects. And okay, you disagree with a third down call. I will excuse him on a third down call that you didn't like, considering where he has the state of the program.
And no matter what play caller you have, you're going to disagree with play calls at time. I have never watched a game of football ever where I go, that was a perfectly called game by an offensive
I would have done
coordinator.
everything the exact same as them.
Yeah, there's never a game where there's not something you disagree with. And also, the good thing that a lot of people don't talk about with Sarkisian calling plays is when you bring someone else to call plays and they're successful, guess what happens? They leave because they get an offer somewhere else. Now you at least have the stability there. And I truly think if Sark ever gets to a point where he is doubting himself as a play caller or truly just has lost it, I think he will go get a play caller. I don't think he would be too proud to admit that. But I don't think there's enough play callers that they're better than Sarkisian as a play caller to go out and grab him right now. Who are you gonna hire Lane Kiffin as your play caller?
I was just about to say
that's about the only name I can think of where I'd be like, he can give Sark a run for his money and his ability to play call.
Yeah,
but even he's not perfect. I'll watch Ole Miss games all the time, and they do the really good play callers love doing some things that I don't like. A lot of those are using third down to set up a shorter fourth down with run plays. That's probably the biggest bugaboo about Sark that drives me nuts. Because people talk about the red zone play calling. I'm sorry, when your quarterback's not hitting open people and your offensive line isn't moving people off the ball, there's nothing you can do as a play caller.
But whenever and again, there's another part of it too, along with what you've said, the going for it instead of kicking field goals. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's never bothered me. It very few times has it ever been like that cost us the game. Very few.
Yeah, it can depend on the style of the game.
Yeah.
But you know, if it's a game where it's low scoring, you go, well, you need the points. Like Ohio State, if they kick the field goals in that game, they lose by 1 point. Whippy, like, who cares? They lose by 1 point. They lost 14-13. What does that do? Like in a game where it's limited possessions and points are a premium, you need to score touchdowns, not field goals, unless it's to take a lead or to extend the possessions. And I think there's times last year where Sark would have kicked more field goals too, by the way, but they were not able to trust Bert Auburn. And that was not the coaching staff's fault. Bert Auburn went from the most accurate kicker in the history of Texas football to complete dog shit from 1 year to the other because kickers are nutcases.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Mike Gundy's available. No,
I've already seen some Texas fans go and bring him in as an offensive analyst. I'm like, why?
Why would you bring that?
This isn't a decade ago.
Why would you bring that cancer into your program at all? Like, that's not healthy for your program to have a human being like him.
No, he's not Gary Patterson.
No, he's an uncomfortable, weird dude that doesn't really get along with.
And is outspoken and has an ego. That's not what Texas needs. And what's he going to provide as an offensive analyst that would be that valuable?
No, get him out. Get him out.
his time in college football's over. He needs to take that big buyout.
Yeah.
All the money he made at Oklahoma State deserved. He
Oh,
had
and
that program
he'll
really good for a long time.
he'll find himself on the halftime show on like the CW or something like that, just spewing nonsense. It will. I can guarantee you. Someone will hire him as a halftime.
If Jason Garrett can get a job as a analyst,
just about anybody.
Gundy definitely can. Gundy's a better coach than Jason Garrett.
Yeah. Well, he also is more entertaining no matter what even if you agree or disagree with what he says, he's going to say something outlandish that's going to probably create some waves. And you'd be like, well, we got some clicks. We got some views.
It'll pull the numbies.
It'll pull numbies for sure. All right, Jake, let's go ahead and wrap up the episode. Tomorrow's episode going to be the final episode of the week. Obviously, going into the bye week, we don't have one on Saturday for an immediate reaction, so we go Monday through Friday on the bye weeks. But we will be back the following week for Florida. We'll be back Tuesday through Saturday. So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.